All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Lance Armstrong, sitting to my left, a little farther away today, thank goodness.
I'm working on it.
JB Hager, and over there with all the room at the table is George Hincapie. Today's show, like every day, is presented to you by the OURA Ring, the most accurate sleep recovery and activity tracker on the market. Guys, I was just looking up my scores from last night, and in total, so my readiness score today is a 70. Okay, just showing y'all that. Sleep score was 83. It's pretty good. And I love breaking down my sleep. So just so you know, because you're such a shitty sleeper, George, I love it. So I slept for 7 hours and 6 minutes. I would rather sleep more. 85% efficiency. Latency, 6 minutes. I fell asleep in 6 minutes.
Oh, my gosh.
Is that amazing? George, yours is probably like 46 minutes or something.
Well, here at altitude, yes, I have trouble sleeping. Normally I'm a really good sleeper.
Yeah, all the different stages, resting heart rate variability. Head on over to auraring.com to get yours. Join us. Join the NBA. Join the WNBA. Join quite a few of the riders in the tour, rocking the ring. We love it. Head on over to auraring.com. Today's show also brought to you by PowerDot. Now this, and I talk about this all the time, and it's just become a more and more key and essential part to my day as I feel older and older. I did get a little beat. I didn't play golf yesterday. I got beat up. Beaten up on Mr. Hincapie. In fact, I felt so good yesterday on the bike that I broke the chain. I mean, think about it. I mean, I had so much power yesterday, probably from PowerDotting all the time. I broke the chain. And then if y'all saw us on Instagram, George had to pull me out of the trail, which was fortunately flat, with the chain.
Yes, it was an interesting day to say the least. And by the way, you are a lot fitter than you were last year, and you are descending much better. So,
wow, you woke up on the right side of the bed today. I really appreciate all the props.
I might have to take this challenge a bit more seriously.
But back to PowerDot. You will have to take it more seriously. Anyhow, PowerDot, just amazing. It integrates with Apple Health and Strava. Top athletes, not just in the Tour, but in the NFL, MLB, the PGA, which, guys, I watched. I don't know if you guys watched the tournament yesterday. John Rahm, in a playoff hole, sunk a 66-footer to win in the first playoff hole. I've never seen a putt like this. He was probably PowerDotting. Had to be, right? 30-day money-back guarantee, 20% off. Use the code THEMOVE. Head on over to powerdot.com/THEMOVE. 20% off with the code THEMOVE. This is also cool. I love talking about this. They teamed up with Feeding San Diego in these crazy times. Feeding San Diego and Feeding America to donate 40 meals for every PowerDot Duo purchase. Again, and by the way, look at the size of this thing. It's like the size of a double cheeseburger, right? I mean, that's all. You put it in your backpack, in your car, whatever. It's just always there. All right, last one for a sec here. Ventum Bikes. This has been my go-to road bike for the last few months, as you know if you've listened to the show. They are the official global bike partner of Ironman. Custom build options to personalize your fit and performance needs. Financing options in North America. We get a lot of questions from folks if there's financing options outside of North America. I'll defer to Dia and the team over at Ventum to talk about that. Also a trade-in program, which is kind of cool. Like if you're not happy with, you probably have a bike that doesn't have disc brakes. You got the old calipers.
Yep.
You have an old bike. You should trade in your bike. That piece of crap you ride, you should trade it in. I won't name the brand. For a Ventum. And new bike builds start as low as $2,700. Head on over to ventumracing.com/TheMove. 20% off any purchase until the end of October. And you can also, you will be entered to win your own custom frame. I personally would do the We Do Paint scheme. But anyhow, we are talking about Stage 3, Q-Alan, because as we get deeper and deeper into France, these cities or towns or whatever they're called will be harder and harder to pronounce. So we brought in a real frog to give us the correct pronunciation. Stage 3.
Stage 3, Nice to Sisteron.
Oh, okay, that was easy.
Tomorrow gets a little
funkier, all right? And we're going to talk about tomorrow in a second, hopefully, because today was Boring. Nice to Sisteron.
Nice is Sisteron.
Which about the most exciting part was roundabouts and traffic islands.
Yeah, well, back up a bit. I do remember quite clearly that when I was a professional biker, I would get quite annoyed when the media would say the stage was boring. Let's not forget, it's still hard work for these guys. They're still very stressed out. It's still the third stage of the Tour de France, so the risk is super high. There's a lot of danger. And as you saw today, there's some random crashes. The poor guy that got the KOM jersey, I mean, dream come true for most, takes himself out on a downhill and is out of the race. I mean, that is just horrible luck. Super sad to see that. And the dude worked really hard to get it. I think he's just massively disappointed. I was disappointed for him.
Can I say two things? First of all, I'm not trying to minimize the job that these guys do. Just because the stages are uneventful and quote unquote boring, I'm not criticizing them.
Okay.
It just is the nature of the beast. That's the way it's a 3-week race. There's going to be boring days. But secondly, and you're maybe not going to like, they shouldn't even have the polka dot jersey until we're not even doing mountains
Not in
yet.
the mountains.
I mean, these little Cat 4s and Cat 3s, come on. That's not.
Hey, it's still publicity for the team.
No, it's publicity for the race, for the sponsor of the polka dot jersey.
Yes, agreed.
So, there.
But there was a good battle going on for it. And also, let's not forget, the more boring a stage is, the more stressful and dangerous it is at the end because everybody's fresh. Everybody thinks they can get a good placing at the finish. So the danger is a lot higher when a stage like today where it's relatively easy coming in.
I did find it fascinating that they said on TV that Sam Bennett and I think Nizzolo, maybe your pick, went back, or Nizzolo changed his front wheel to go with the tubeless front tire, and then Sam Bennett changed to his aero bike. Is that what I heard right? Did I hear that right on?
I didn't see that, but they apparently it was super gusty at the end, a lot more wind than people thought. So perhaps that was the reason some of these last-minute equipment changes were going on.
Well, the sprint was, I didn't even know what I was watching. I mean, at one point I thought, Peter Sagan got shot out of a cannon. I was like, oh, shit. I just said his career is essentially finished yesterday. I was like, look, he's just going to go win the stage going away. And he must have gone so early because there were like 4 or 5 different winners if you're watching that overhead angle.
Yeah, and a lot of people do listen to the show and watch the show online, and they haven't even seen the stage. You have to go watch this sprint because 4 different times you thought you had a winner.
Yeah,
it was over.
I can't remember the last time we're watching the overhead view, and I think I called 3 different winners in the last 300 meters.
I just had an idea. As every now and again I come up, twice a day a broken clock is right. You know that, George, okay? I just came up with a fucking amazing idea. Speaking of saying, I just said the bad word. Just so we know, it made the trip from Austin. The swear jar is here, okay? So, for all you folks at home listening with your kids, I am so sorry. Swear freely and passionately at breakthroughs. Because I just had a breakthrough. At setbacks, light bulbs, and shots in the dark, have faith that your foul mouth will guide you from one idea to the next, and think of your contribution as less of a penance and more of a thank you offering to the goodness of profanity. Every coin brings you a step closer to complete fucking bliss. Remember, swearing is caring. How to use this fucking jar. Number 1, swear, curse, or cuss. Number 2, pay the fine. Number 3, repeat steps 1 and 2. Number 4, empty when full. And number 5, rejoice in the fruits of your foul mouth. So my breakthrough, like in football, when they have that line across for the first down line or the
overlaid yellow
field goal range or all these things, with that overhead, because we're watching this going, Sagan's about to win. The finish line has to be right there.
We didn't know.
What if they had just like a virtual line, 400 to go, 300, or whenever they start showing the overhead angle, and it just moves through and it goes 300, 200, 1. I'm telling you, this is an amazing idea, and I bet you anything they do it. Because it would have been cool. What do you mean?
Well, we don't typically see the overhead shots when the stage is about to finish. We see them after, I think.
I don't know. But I think I like that.
Reach.
I like that overhead shot, and I think they should. What do you think, JB?
No, I think it's interesting. or that overhead shot needed to be wider at first, because then you guys would have been probably looking at it going, "Oh, Sagan went too early."
Yeah, yeah.
But the way it was framed, we had no idea. It looked
Right.
like it was over.
But I'm telling you, if that line is in there and it's 250 to go and he shoots out of the cannon like that, you say, too early.
Yeah.
All these, and it doesn't have to be NBC. They're all going to do it.
But that also depends on which way the wind's going. If it's 250 and it's a massive tailwind, it might not be too early.
That's all good.
Or
But
if it's downhill.
it's just, this would give us, I love this idea. And I just now thought of that.
And I realized
I'm a fucking genius.
today might be the
where,
day
George?
where George does his sprint analysis. If you could have described to us what.
Honestly, I mean, that was chaotic. From looking from the overhead view, what Caleb Ewan did was incredibly impressive. He was out of the shot with 250 meters to go.
We need more cans.
George,
I'm not ready for the-
George,
I'm not ready for the
look at
can.
you on the camera over there.
What are we talking
You
about?
need to shave. Okay, we are putting up an Instagram poll and a
Yeah.
poll with our members.
We're going to do a
Dude,
poll.
you got to shave. Look at that.
TC is going to do a poll for us, and I will do what the
What the
listeners
people
and
say.
viewers, what the people say.
can-
I'm a man of the people.
And after you shave, you can clean your iPad.
Yes.
That is, dude.
Can we go back to the sprint?
Yeah.
The poll will happen.
I was
Let's go back to
distracted
the
by
sprint.
that GI Joe beard. you guys are-
Later in this tour's coverage, are you going to do? Can you do the can analysis?
I got to think about it. I'm not prepared for it at this moment, but perhaps later on in the tour. And I think we have some really cool potential guests that we can call in to help us break down some of these sprints. But today was super impressive what Caleb Ewan did. Super risky as well. I mean, there was a very high probability that even though he had so much speed, he wasn't going to have the room to go past these riders. And as you saw, he was so close to the barricades at one point. And we're talking about millimeters of difference. If Bennett was over another millimeter, he might not have had room to go through. So even though he won with a lot more speed than anybody else, it was a big risk being where he was. But hey, took that risk and it really played off. It also indicated that the wind was a lot stronger than most people thought, because you saw a lot of people go out early and fade away really quickly.
We didn't even mention Viviani, who
Yeah,
looked like he had it first.
Yeah, Viviani, Sagan, these guys all went out and it looked like they were going to win, but they faded really quick. And Caleb came with what looked like twice as fast at the speed that those guys were going.
What, and his going around the ride of Sagan between the Sagan and the barriers, there was not a lot of room there.
Yeah.
I don't know how these guys think that way. I mean, they must just be like,
They don't. They're not.
they
thinking,
don't think.
They don't
That's
have
right.
fear.
They just turn off the think part.
Yeah, they turn that off and they just go. They're not thinking about, if I'm dodging to the right here, who am I going to take out? Am I going to cut anybody off? They're just looking for their free line to get to the finish line.
But you speculate because of a strong headwind would encourage them to go early.
Well, I spoke to one of my guys in the bunch, and he did say it was very gusty, and it's always hard to tell in a finish, especially at that speed, which way the wind is coming from. But as soon as you hit the front, you know pretty quickly. So I mean, Caleb just left it to the last moment, and like I said, just came with an incredible amount of speed.
Yeah. A little pocket rocket. I mean, the guy's like, what is he, like 5?
Yeah, you see him on his position. He is
so
just like
small.
a little ball on the bike and super narrow bars, and I mean, just incredibly aerodynamic in the sprints.
So we do just going back to the start in Nice. We should show, and we've talked a lot about, and I don't want to spend a bunch of time talking about this, but we have talked a lot about the COVID protocols and what the organizers are asking the riders and staff to do. Some pretty strict stuff in terms of mask and social distancing, et cetera, et cetera. Even the fans on the side of the road strongly
Can't leave their
encouraged.
bubble.
Yeah,
and interact with others.
But we couldn't help but show either the start or the finish yesterday with all the VIPs. So we have the mayor of Nice, you have Prince Albert of Monaco, you have Conor McGregor. I'm not sure why he's at the Tour
Is
de
that
France.
really Conor McGregor?
That's Conor McGregor, and then all the greats. And well, the picture speaks for itself. So George wants us to be nice here. He doesn't want. We have to stay down the. And I'm not making. I'm just.
I'm just going by your requests.
Somebody sent us that, and it's just worth
It was
noting.
quite interesting.
You're just pointing
note
out
that.
the hypocrisy. If they're going to make these
That's
demands,
a strong word. George would not like the word
It's
hypocrisy.
not a mean word.
See, he.
He's
staying out of
speaking for me. I told him I wasn't going to comment on this
I didn't say
situation.
anything. I just said put up the picture. But
Yeah.
anyhow,
I think we should put up the picture of me towing you out of the forest yesterday. That was a bit more interesting and very politically correct. That I saved my co-host in the middle of the woods. We could have left you out there. You know, you could have still been walking home. And here I am,
look at that. Look at that.
Towing you out of there with your own chain that you tried to fix and did a very poor job of fixing, obviously. But thank goodness for Dave Bolch, who came and saved us, picked us up, brought us a new chain, and we were able to finish our ride.
For those listening to the podcast, I mean, George is riding his mountain bike, holding the broken chain behind him as far back as you could reach, and Lance is just getting towed out to the road where Bolch met you.
Yep.
How far did you have to tow him?
It was like an hour.
Yeah, right. It was probably 5 minutes.
Impressive.
It was probably 5 minutes. I want to spend some time talking about tomorrow because it looks, again, for early days in a tour, first uphill finish on stage 4, 10,000 feet of climbing in less than 100.
Whoa. Was that the polls up already?
That's the poll, yeah.
Oh, I love you people.
Well, let's give it to the end of the day.
Look at that.
Hang on a second. 67% of folks on Instagram are saying to shave.
The beard is coming on.
Wow. All right.
Buddy, what does your wife think of that beard?
I think she likes it.
No, there's no way. Like if you're like cuddling up, there's no way she likes it. That thing must be like sleeping with a bear. Seriously.
You could have been sleeping with a bear yesterday if I didn't tow you out of the forest. So.
Oh, as my kids say, burn notice. Burn notice. Hey, today's show also brought to you by Amp Human. We love this company and absolutely believe in this flagship product. The PR lotion gives the body more bicarbonate, which is in fact proven to buffer lactic acid. So as you go out and ride hard or run hard or whatever, work out hard, the only thing that slows you down and stops you is lactic acid. That's the thing that at the end of the day ultimately makes you stop. And so PR lotion proven to buffer lactic acid. Push harder, go longer, recover faster. It's real simple. You just rub it on like lotion. The more, the better. And the shit absolutely works. I didn't believe it when it was first brought to my attention, and then I started using it religiously, as I did yesterday. Much to my great pleasure, actually distancing George Hincapie on some of the climbs. By the way, one of the climbs I was just like talking, and I was like, "So what do you think?" And I was like, "Why is he not talking back to me or answering?" And I looked back; he was like 75 yards behind me on a climb. He had gotten dropped.
The distance is increasing every time he tells.
You
the
better
story,
triple up on your PR lotion. 3 government innovation contracts. I mean, you think they're throwing these things out? Heck no. Just awarded $1.5 million innovation research contract by the United States Air Force. Head on over to amphuman.com/TheMove and use the buy code TheMove25 for 25% off your next purchase. Today's show also brought to you by The Feed. Now, this is what's cool about The Feed is they actually have little PR lotion packets in here. So they did a tour pack. They've got Honey Stinger waffles. They got the PR lotion. They've got, they did a special pack for anybody that just wants the tour pack. You can head on over to thefeed.com. Buy code there is TheMove. But again, I just want to highlight what these really sweet people at The Feed said to me. Enjoy our new 2020 Tour de France box. Lance, everything in the big box is to help you kick George's ass this year on the mountain bike. So for the team over at The Feed, you heard what I just said. And we are working on, Tiffany, we have a kid going to come with us and start documenting some of these rides. So you'll actually see, forget this bullshit like pulling me out with a chain and making everybody like you more. You will see actual guys. You will be really glad that you picked the right guy for this next 3 weeks. I'm telling you, man. And by the way,
that's another poll.
And I love investing in companies. I love investing in this space. And by the way, too, let me just tell you, because there are people like, why do you guys take ads? Because we all have kids and we all have to put up these curtains and this desk and everything. But here's the thing about the ads, and I will just say this: we're never gonna talk about stuff we don't believe in. We are only going to talk about things that are real to us and that are real to you. I promise you that. And as an investor, I'm just so pissed I didn't get the chance to invest in The Feed. This is the best idea. Like, you just curate your own bag. Go to thefeed.com and get your tour pack. Buy code there is TheMove. All right, let's talk
Before we talk tomorrow,
Yeah.
because I wanted to remind you, there was some mention of a riders organization,
Yes.
loosely organized organization, and you've been saying for years.
I wonder,
that,
that's a great idea.
yeah, they're after that slippery, messy day. Some leaders have stepped up to go talk to the directors. I don't know what that all entails.
It seems, I just caught kind of bits of it on the internet and reading some stories. I'd love to get maybe George with all his sources because Luke Rowe is Luke Rowe, TJ Van Garderen,
They're all kind of leading the charge and trying to get
Jasper
this.
Stuyven. There's a whole group of them that are, and they should, in power and numbers, but you got to come with a unified voice, so it doesn't matter who it is.
Basically, they just want to have the power to say if it's pouring rain or super dangerous, super slippery, they can make a call where we're going to neutralize the race for the next 10K, 5K, whatever it is, to get them to a safer place on the course, and they can start racing again, which I think is awesome and should happen.
Well, and as long as they stick to it, right? I tell the story all the time about that stupid 2009 Tour of Italy when they didn't want to race in Milan, and they had my dumb ass go stand up there and act like we're all unified, and next thing you know, Zomignon's calling like the low team and going, if you don't attack, you're never being invited back. Next thing you know, it's mayhem.
Yeah.
That's not unity. So if they can get it together, thanks for remembering that, JB. That's what they ought to do. Get a seat at the table. You're the most important part of this play.
Yep.
Fact.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that story and see what develops with those leaders, like you talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it. I know we're about to talk about tomorrow's stage, but today, in a day like today, there typically would have been a much bigger breakaway. But I think how hard the first two stages were, everybody was just kind of exhausted. You saw what Greg Van Avermaet, my old teammate, his comments yesterday. He raced yesterday's stage like it was a one-day classic. It was that hard. So these guys are really feeling the effects of the first two stages, the stress of the Tour de France. And today they basically just let a breakaway of three guys roll away for the KOM sprints. And the breakaway was pretty much very, not an important breakaway for the stage, and made it for a relatively relaxing stage for the whole rest of the peloton.
Until tomorrow.
Tomorrow's where the big guns are going to come out. There's going to be a huge battle there at the end. There's going to be a bigger breakaway, in my opinion. There's going to be a lot more action tomorrow.
Again, 10,000 vert, and you got to imagine these roads are small, twisty, turny, technical roads. Weather looks good. I always like to talk about the weather. Interesting, cooler temps. You have this uphill finish. The high is like 62 degrees, which I would have loved that back. But shit, I sweat my ass off when I'm out biking, dropping George and stuff. I just sweat. I'm a sweater. But this comes in. I mean, there are just certain guys that can't tolerate the heat the same. But this, 62 degrees. That's perfect.
Yeah, they're going through a lot of different conditions. You saw the rain the first stage. Yesterday was really hot. Today seemed like a relatively normal weather day, but tomorrow they're going to get some cooler weather. So the stresses on the body right now, this first four stages of the Tour de France are pretty extreme.
What's the final climb? 7.1 Ks at 6.7%. So it's a category 1 climb. You got three category 3s, a category 4, and then a category 1. I don't even think they should give points for those 3s and 4s. I think that's just TV attacking. But the uphill finish, then you start to figure out who is the best climber.
Yeah, well, I mean,
this will be a hard one for us to pick the winner.
This is what makes the Tour de France so special. There's always races inside of the race. The KOM.
There's only one race. There's only one
finish line.
There's only one jersey.
It's all going on. For every team, they have different goals and things that they can accomplish within the race. So that's what makes the Tour de France the Tour de France.
I mean, you have a team like Cofidis. I mean, I was on Cofidis in 1996. They've been around that long. They haven't won a stage in the Tour de France in 12 years.
That was crazy when they said that today.
I mean, at some point, I don't know if that's just dumb to keep or just really generous. Like at some point, you have to go, hang on, how are we? I'm being right. That's a long time. So to your point, George, if they can find, but by the way, the kid who crashed that was gonna wear the polka dot jersey was on Cofidis, right?
Yep.
But it makes it that much sweeter when they win. Remember the Cubs. When the Chicago Cubs won, it was that glorious.
I somehow I don't know. I just can't really compare the Cubs and the Cofidis. The Cofidis Cubs. But let's try to pick a winner. Can I go first?
Yep.
I don't know how you can bet against Alaphilippe tomorrow. I mean, I think obviously in the jersey, wants to keep the jersey riding well. He's not going to, unless there's some remarkable performance by a Bernal or a Roglic or I don't know. But I'm not betting against Alaphilippe.
Can I go?
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb. Not really a limb because of his
Tom
past.
Dumoulin.
No, I'm not going to go with Tom. I'm actually going to go with Primoz. I think they have such good climbers. I mean, somebody like our fellow American, Sepp Kuss, was riding people off of his wheel in the Dauphiné. And the only one that was able to really stay on his wheel comfortably was Primoz. So if they were to have the tactics tomorrow where they went all in for the stage win, perhaps get some time on the overall, they could pull it off. So tomorrow could be a really decisive day to see how good Team Ineos is if they're able to match the strength of Jumbo-Visma. I think I'm personally super excited about tomorrow's stage, but I'm going to go with Primoz.
Can I? And I'm gonna change my pick.
Don't do
You
it.
can't just change your pick.
No, I'm changing my pick.
We have rules on this show.
Don't do it.
But
Alaphilippe's repeating what he did last year.
I know, but JB, you can if you're mad at me, you can edit this out. But I'm going to change my pick, and I'm going to pick Nairo Quintana to win the stage. I think Alaphilippe will be impressive and strong, but I think I'm picking Quintana. This is a great stage for him to win. Win it early, doesn't need a team, can ride the wheels. He's going back to these small French teams. I don't know why. I just had, maybe it was just like that other idea I had earlier where it just flashed in my head. I was like, this is a fucking great idea. I'm picking Quintana.
It's a good pick. I personally do not think the climb is steep enough or long enough from Quintana.
He was super strong this spring.
But yeah, he's riding great, and it's a good pick.
Okay. Apparently we have we had a lot of feedback on the fanny pack.
I know. Tons of comments on the fanny pack. In fact, here's a couple of them if you want it. Russ Parks, right? Hey, Lance, my wife says that she is on your side. She likes fanny packs too.
Love you. What's his wife's name?
You don't have it here.
Oh, that's Russ Parks. Rosa Parks.
Russ Parks.
Oh.
April Birdsong wrote in, when he stood up with the fanny pack, I wet my pants laughing.
Whoa. That is a very serious thing to say.
I did also when McGinty sent me the picture, by the way, so we have that in common.
Ian wrote,
We'll get you some Depends, don't worry.
And really corrected me. He put JB in quotes. Good thing no one was hurt. Everyone else, yeah, he broke a femur. He's calling me out for saying I missed that one. Sorry. And another comment here from 3 Mrs. Paisley. You know how it is with handles. Ineos is playing this nicely. Let Jumbo do the work right now while it's just keeping safe. Later in the tour, they're going to put out a serious attack on the GC.
Well, that's definitely a good prediction.
That's what Johan was saying yesterday on his show.
And Johan just wrote in, by the way, his pick for tomorrow is Adam Yates. That's a great pick.
That's a great pick. Yeah, that's a great pick. Can I change my pick again?
No, you can't.
Also, we have an update, I guess, on the beard poll.
Oh, whoa!
Wait,
now this is a bunch of this is absolutely corrupt.
That's crazy.
It flip-flopped.
So it completely flipped. At first, it was 67% shave, and
What's
now
the
it's
cutoff for this?
69%.
What's the cutoff?
Don't
for the poll?
shave.
9 p.m.
And now and they changed. I think Tiffany changed the picture.
Keep
they
'em
just
coming, y'all.
they
Keep 'em
get the
coming.
most handsome picture they could get of the man. That's not fair. Put up an ugly picture of him
If you can find
if
one.
you can find one of those. Look at this guy.
Hey, one more question that came in from Bob Pitcher in Alabama. He said, for Lance and George, Peter Sagan has not seemed the same after his crash on the descent in stage 17 of 2018 Tour de France.
Wow.
Can serious downhill crashes like that have lingering effects?
Of course. Absolutely.
Some
Ask
crashes have affected
Taylor
me.
Finney.
Yeah.
No, if you absolutely.
I don't think it's not like doesn't seem to be not taking the same risk he has in the past. As you saw today, he's up there at the end, which in itself in a sprint is super risky and dangerous. So he doesn't seem to be missing that. It's just missing a bit of power right now, which, like I said, I think it's because of the lack of racing for Peter Sagan, and I think he'll get better.
I just full transparency. I could not get through this series, this whole Tiger King thing, and I think we've talked about it before. All you crazy kittens and kittens. I mean, but
that is too good.
who's sending the? I mean, Joe Natale sent. Who sent this? Is this Joe Natale again? This guy is. I mean, that is so filthy. And if you're just listening to the show on one of the audio formats, I am so sorry. We'll put it up on Instagram. I mean, I actually look kind of cool, but I just couldn't get through that show. Did you watch the show? I had to stop.
I did
bailed
watch
on
the
the
first
first
So
one.
everybody was so fucking weird. I was like, I can't watch another hour of a bunch of weird people.
Yeah, I bailed on it quick.
Yeah. Wait, put it back up. I need to see it again. Let me just see this one. Holy moly. Joe Natale is just, what is this guy? Does he not work?
Yeah, on the bottom right it just says, "How you doing?"
How you doing? How you doing?
That is a good one.
That is amazing. Hey, Joe, at least you could have, like the little white tiger at the bottom there, you could have put Toby in there, like our little puppy dog, Toby. All right. That's amazing.
Now, can I clear some confusion? Just looking at comments on Facebook and
Yes.
YouTube. A lot of people watch the show on either Facebook or YouTube.
Quit hitting the thing. You always yell at us for doing
I know,
that.
right? And people are like, where do I find the Johan show? Where do I find that? One, you should be listening to it because he has great insight. And yesterday's show, some real good insight on a few of the teams. But it's in the audio format, same feed as the Move lives. So this show, the audio feed goes to all podcast platforms, then Johan's, and then La Movida with him and Johan and Victor Hugo Pena.
Yep.
El Tiburón.
El Tiburón.
So
By the
audio
way,
only, sir.
By the way, knock, knock.
Who's there?
No, knock, knock. Well, you can say who's there. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
This is the Move, motherfuckers. Okay. Okay, all you people.
Jar, get the jar out.
I got the jar.
Oh, this is a
all
profound statement.
all the people on iTunes podcast rankings. This is the quickest the Move has made it to the top 10. We're just starting this tour.
3 days in?
3 days in, we're up to number 8. So knock, knock. Everybody number 1 through 7, just knock, knock. You hear me coming? Do you hear us coming? Okay? The fucking Tiger King is coming. So all the Barstool and all these other fancy podcasters, we are coming.
I like it.
Huh? Where are we now?
We're 8.
Number 8. Oh, so all these people, this Dan Lebetard, Focus, Fantasy, whatever, LeCorp, The Corp, All-American, Tiger Woods. What? Pardon my take. Bill Simmons. Fantasy football is number 1. Come on, people. Give us a download. We cannot let fantasy football beat out the hardest sporting event in the world.
Let's
knock,
go.
knock. I love this.
Look what we're ahead of, though. 30 for 30, Dan Patrick.
Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
Ooh, and the Meat Eater. Whoa. All right. This is great. We're moving on up.
Well, it's a different year, too, because we're up against
No,
football, basketball,
right. No, there's
Stanley Cups going on.
There's a lot going on.
It's a different summer.
I'm happy. Right. I'm happy that we're making our way there. Quickest we've cracked the top 10. So, and the only reason we're cracking the top 10 is because you people are listening to us and supporting us. So all jokes aside, truly appreciate it, and hope you enjoy it. And tomorrow, because frankly, I was not that excited to get up today. I mean, I was excited to get up and do my day. Mondays are shitty for me. I'm super slammed to have all my weekly team calls with the fund and my whole team there. But I wasn't that excited. But I'm really excited to get up tomorrow. Tomorrow's stage is going to be epic.
Yep, it's going to be a good one.
Love it. All right. See y'all tomorrow.